Hey, you up there. Do you know I'm a lunar philiac? I love the moon. Not phobic, not a lunar phobic, I'm a lunar philiac. I love things about the moon, and I've got a collection here of some of them to show you, including this one on my head. So, let's have a look. Take the glasses off and try it out. This is the first one I got, I think, which is a French idea, which came out about 30 years ago. This is on my mantelpiece, and it shows the phases of the moon. It's got a battery on the back, and this is normal clock going around 12 hours in the day and 12 hours at night. But what's interesting about it is also part of the mechanism. I have to push this because otherwise it would take a month to show you. I don't think you want to wait there a month. Push the button in, and what's going to happen is very slowly this top bit will turn at the rate of a full turn is a whole month, so even half a turn is 14 days. After 14 days, halfway through, it's going to be a full moon. And then as it keeps going to the second half of the day, it comes back to an arc, and then a quarter of a moon, and then closes up, and that's a new moon again. And that happens all the time when the clock's running, and it goes on for several weeks before you need to change the batteries. So, charming idea with a normal clock underneath. There's only just batteries to put in the back here, but the top of the bit is a bit special because it goes so slowly, but exactly in a moon cycle, going to a crescent moon, half moon, the full moon, of course, back to half moon, crescent, and finally a new moon at the end. So a lovely thing to put on your mantelpiece to enjoy and to see time moving very slowly, which does. Lunar time is very slow, much slower than sun time. So that's one item. Then, because I love toys particularly, I looked out for lunar toys, and this is the only one I've come across, in fact. It's made by Sherlock and Fager, who I see at Nuremberg Toy Fair every year. It's a very nice version of a moon-shaped balloon, but it's a rubber balloon. It's not the mylar balloons, which are so common. It makes a nice crescent at the top there, if I can get it to go. He's got a funny nose on it, which the real moon doesn't have, but you can always imagine it. But he's got a very cheerful face. He looks this way, and he looks that way. And there's the back of him. So that's sitting on the stand, filled with helium, so it was just floating in the air. It looked very, very nice indeed. So as and when I can get some more helium, I shall start putting them up and having them gently waving in the breeze, looking like that. But a lunar balloon, and we'll let the air out. No, something the moon doesn't do. I like dynamic toys, and here's one of them, which I think is superb. A friend of mine mentioned some time ago, there's a Victorian invention which came out over 100 years ago with two balls and a piece of elastic. This is elastic band here in between, and they whiz round each other. But here's a German company making a version of the Earth and the Moon in roughly the right proportions. To wind it up originally, I did it like this with my fingers. It took me ages, and then later on I learned to do, all you need to do is roll it like this, and it instantly winds it up much, much better. Well, wound it up, and it whizzes round and 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 round, with the Earth roughly staying in one place, but actually moving around the centre of gravity. I'll do it one more time because I like this so much. So they decorated the globe of the world. The moon is possibly, it's only really got craters, isn't it? The moon, no, went the other way, like that, that's better. Whoa, it whizzes around beautifully. So there's a lot of reality about that. There's different sizes, the fact that the Earth is just moving in action like that, almost staying within its same location, and the moon whizzing around very fast because it's so much smaller than the Earth. Very nice way of doing it. Another, I think, even better one, which is mechanical, this one here, is one of these charming little toys by the St. Ledger people who I've just seen at a doll's fair. This is just superb. It's a reproduction of that lovely little nursery rhyme that children learn, which is Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow, there's the cow, jumped over the moon. Here it goes. Whee! Boomf! On the other side. Moo, moo, whee! Boomf! Moo, moo, moo. Isn't that charming? Little tiny little drive wheel underneath and a sort of loop round it. It's just so well made and so simple, but so small. And yet it works well. Hey diddle diddle, the cow jumped over the moon, and that's how they demonstrated it. It's a superb one of their 50 or so examples of miniature wonders that they've made, which I've got in my collection. Here's a very strange one. I've actually lost the original top that it came with. But fortunately, I'd kept one of the items, I don't know why it was, which is a moon-shaped one. This is a magnetic toy. And when I put a magnetic top on it, it was hopeless because they're too strong. This is very light. But then I discovered this one, which I'd made many years ago, this is a Sakai top from Japan with a tiny, tiny little magnet, which I put in myself, made of neodymium iron boron. It's a tiny little gold cube, really. And this is now magnetic, so that it does actually pick up pieces like that. And then when you set it going on the table, it performs as it should do. Ooh, it's got to be the green side upwards. Green's a bit odd for a moon, isn't it? Don't you think? Ooh, I've got to get it a bit more even than that. There we are. Here you go, here you go. Oh, shows it. There we go. Oh, does a little twirl sometimes. That's nice. It's going around the whole profile of the moon, including the moon actually has a tiny little mouth there and a nose as well. But I've got to set it going close to it. Yes, there we are. I wondered after a while why it was a green colour, because the moon's never green. It reminded me, though, of a lovely bit of chopped logic I learnt when I was a young man, which was the moon is made of green cheese. That's the proposition. Well, you say, the moon is made of green cheese, and either it is or it isn't. But you know that it isn't. Whatever it is, it is. It's, no, something's gone wrong there. There's a fallacy to it. But it's a nice way of introducing children to logic. A moon made of green cheese, that one's not, it's made of metal. Here's a clever idea from America, moon. This is Carlisle, who I see every year at the New York Toy Fair, and they made a version which is luminous, which is nice, it shines in the dark, and it's actually a tumbling blocks, where they've got a series of pictures of the moon in stages. There's the just after the new moon, the crescent, and it gradually gets more and more as it comes out of the Earth's shadow, and the moon gets bigger and bigger to half moon, half of the month, and then up to full moon at the end, and now I'll make it actually do its tumbling block action, which is one of these you're probably familiar with. That looks quite nice in the dark because those green coloured drawings of the moon shine very nicely in the dark, and in action like this size, it doesn't flick that well, but it's just very odd to have one. It could almost be a form of a flick book, couldn't it? Showing the phases of the moon from new moon to new moon, or full moon to full moon. But there we are, that's a bit of fun. And then there's one over here which is extraordinary on this. It didn't say it was moon rock, but I suggested that this was natural lodestone of moon rock, and it's trying to get back up to it. So there's a bit of moon rock, desperate to try and get back up to the moon, and us, oh, cruel collectors that we are, have chained it to the earth. Push it down, he struggles to get up there again. Push it down, he struggles to get up to the moon. Oh, well, you can see what's going on here. Yes, it's magnets, of course it is, but it made me think of a romantic idea of a lodestone wanting to get back to mother. That's the moon, up in the sky. Lovely idea, that moon rock can't get back up again, but it's going to keep trying. And the last one is a very nice bit of dual sculpturing, where you get two different pictures. And this is superb. Here's the first one. We've got a wolf howling in the dark, probably at midnight, at something in the sky. What is the moon howling at? Yes, it's the moon, of course. I think actually they probably howled at the full moon, which is a bit more spectacular, but there we are. We've made it a crescent moon, which of course is more fun. And then we keep turning it around, we go back to the wolf, and then back to the moon at the top there. Isn't that a beauty? Incidentally, you should try sometime in your life at looking at a lunar eclipse. It looks three-dimensional, which is extraordinary, and doesn't happen that often, but it's certainly a lot more common than a solar eclipse. I've seen it twice now. You get up at 2 or 3 in the morning on a summer's night, out in the garden with minimum, because it's summer air, and you see the extraordinary sight of the moon going into total eclipse, looking exactly like a large meteorological balloon that somehow escaped and is sitting up in the Earth's atmosphere about 20 miles high, not 200,000, which is what the moon really is, but it looks about 20 miles high, very, very round. Because all the rest of the time of my life, whenever I've seen the moon, it's always a perfectly flat disc or half crescent. Then it looks completely round, and it's a wonderful effect. So do try and look at the lunar eclipse just once in your life, sometime. Preferably in summertime, at night time, when it's nice to go outside.